I often have people tell me that they would love to update or improve their space, but they just don't know where to start and they don't know what needs to be updated. You know, they'd really love to make changes themselves and they don't want to hire a designer, but it can be really hard to know what you need to change when you're so used to living in your space all that time. I have a really simple technique I want to teach you today that I like to call fresh eyes. In general, when a designer walks into your room for the very first time, they are trained to look for and notice certain things about your room, how it functions and how it looks. And you can learn to notice those same things as well. The first step in understanding what needs to change in your room is to use a technique I like to call fresh eyes. You know, when we live in our homes, we get so used to walking into the room every day that we stop noticing some of the little things and some of the little details. We stop noticing the piles of clutter in the corner of the room and the paint color and even how the decor works together, because we're just trained to walk into the space every day and see the same type of thing, and it no longer stands out to us. We no longer notice the things that might need to be different. So today, you're just gonna do a little bit of a mindset shift, and I want you to pretend like you're walking into your room for the very first time. So you really are gonna be seeing it with fresh eyes. And now we're gonna talk about some of the things that we're specifically going to be looking for as we enter the room for the very first time. Okay, I want you to grab some paper and a pencil, and we're gonna take some notes as you walk into this room with your fresh eyes. And there's a couple of questions that I want you to ask yourself and write down your answers to as you enter the room. Okay, the first thing I want you to ask yourself and notice when you walk in the room is, what is the very first thing that I see? It could be a fireplace, it could be a red flower in a vase. There's no real right answer, it's just whatever your eyes are drawn to first. Is that the thing that I want people to notice when they first walk into my room? And then what is the second thing you notice? The next set of questions I want you to ask yourself are, does the room feel light and bright when I walk into it, or a little bit on the dark and dreary side? Does it feel warm and inviting, or a little bit cold and unwelcoming when I first walk in? The next thing I want you to think about is, as your eyes move around the room, do they move around nice, free flowing way, or are they getting stuck somewhere? Are they stopping to notice something? And what is that thing or that area that they're getting stuck at? Next, I want you to think about, does your room look or feel heavier on one side or the other? So on the right side of the room, does there seem to be more furniture, more items that are drawing your attention, and then the other side of the room might look a little bare? Or does it look pretty evenly mixed throughout? Then I want you to think about, do your walls look cluttered? Do the walls themselves have a lot on them, or are they looking really bare? Or are there areas where there are a lot of things and then other areas where there's just nothing? Then take note, does everything in the room seem to be the same color family? Is everything in the room brown, from your wood floors to your furniture? Is it all kind of the same colors? Or do you have a pretty good mix of color throughout the room? Do you have a pretty good mix of pattern in the room? Do you see any pattern in the room? Or does it all seem to be just solid colors? Then really take a good look at the clutter in the room. Does it look cluttered? Is it just something where you just kind of need to clean up and put things away? Or do you really need to think about storage solutions for that room so that you can keep that clutter at bay? Okay, the last question I want you to ask yourself is, do you have any plants in the room? And I want to give you a big hint. The answer should be yes. A well-designed space always has some plants in there. So now that you kind of have an idea of some of the things that were standing out to you in either a positive or negative way, now you can go about making changes to your space, and soon you're going to have a home that looks and feels much better to you. If you have any questions about this tip, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel for more interior design and decorating tips like these. And feel free to check out my website at welchdesignstudio.com for lots of free resources on how to design and decorate.